The past and the future collide on the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E, which is inspired by the automaker's unmistakable pony car and powered exclusively by electricity. Although it shares a name and a familiar styling cues with the Mustang, the all-electric crossover otherwise is completely unrelated. With two available battery sizes and either rear or all-wheel drive, Ford says the Mach-E can provide up to 300 miles of driving range. Audi's answer isn't as stylish as the Jaguar I-Pace or as innovative as the Tesla Model X. Instead, the 2020 Audi e-Tron is intended to magnify the advantages of EVs in a more traditional package that amplifies the company's luxury pedigree. The two-row crossover has the capability many SUV shoppers expect. While its 200-mile range isn't groundbreaking, Audi thinks that's more than enough for most daily commutes. A sumptuous interior fitted with state-of-the-art technology further proves that the 2020 e-Tron is more interested in making the EV segment more desirable rather than advancing it. Starting with the 2021 Mach-E, it is available with either a standard range 75.7 kWh battery or an extended range 98.8 kWh battery pack. These feed an electric motor mounted on the rear or both axles. That latter combination creates all-wheel drive, and on the sporty GT model, the motors combine to make 459 horsepower and 612 pound-feet of torque. Ford claims this will send the Mach-E from 0 to 60 miles per hour in less than 4 seconds. Less powerful models make between 255 and 333 horsepower and between 306 and 417 pound-feet of torque. It rides on wheels that range in size from 18 to 20 inches, and it can be had with adaptive dampers for adjustable ride firmness. We will go deeper into the numbers later in this video. Beneath the e-Tron's heavily creased bodywork is a 95.3 kWh lithium-ion battery pack that powers two electric motors, one located at the front axle and the other at the rear. Together, they provide electronic all-wheel drive, but the rear motor does most of the work. In regular driving situations, they make a combined 355 horsepower and 414 pound-feet of torque. However, putting the transmission in sport mode briefly unlocks 402 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. Initial driving impressions revealed that the e-Tron was swift and composed. Its snappy acceleration is typical of electric vehicles, and the smooth and quiet ride quality asserted its luxury pretenses. Its stopping system expertly blended its traditional brakes with regen braking. The e-Tron is also capable of towing up to 4,000 pounds when properly equipped. The Mach-E has an EPA estimated range of between 210 and 300 miles, depending on the battery pack and the type of electric motors. Ford claims it will have the largest charging networks in the United States, even larger than Tesla's. Its network will include 12,000 charging stations with a total of 35,000 stations in the US and some parts of Canada. Every model comes out of the box with a Ford mobile charger that can add up to 30 miles of range per night with a 120-volt outlet and up to 80% of battery life overnight with a 240-volt outlet. A Ford charge station can also be ordered online and installed by certified electricians with the ability to replenish 32 miles per hour and recharge the battery overnight. The e-Tron features 95.3 kWh lithium-ion battery pack. However, we believe Audi is updating the battery for 2020 to extract more driving range. The EPA estimated 2019 model had a driving range of 204 miles, which was less than the I-Pace of 234 miles and the Model X long range at 295 miles. Based on information about the updated European model, we expect the 2020 e-Tron will have a range of roughly 210 miles. Otherwise, it will still be compatible with 150 kW DC fast chargers that allow it to regain roughly 50 miles in 10 minutes and just over 160 miles in 30 minutes. Those using a more conventional 240-volt outlet will be able to fully charge the e-Tron in about 9 hours. The Mustang's different models are worth digging into, since most would want to know what does a base model or top-of-the-line version gets you for the money. None are exactly cheap. The most affordable one starts at $43,900, which is a few $1,000s more than the current average selling price of a vehicle in the United States. But buyers of Ford's electric and hybrid vehicles are still eligible for the full $7,500 federal tax credit, something Ford was quick to point out on Sunday night. Depending on the state you live in, government incentives could help reduce the ultimate cost by around $10,000 in the US. Beginning with that base $43,900 version of the Mustang Mach-E, which Ford has dubbed the Select model, it will be offered in both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive configurations when it ships in spring 2021. And both versions use the same 75.7 kWh standard range battery pack Ford had designed for its new EV. The rear-wheel drive version will have a range of about 230 miles and around 255 horsepower, with the ability to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 7 seconds. The all-wheel drive version will be about a second quicker at the expense of range, with an estimated 210 miles on a full battery. while the rest of the Mach-E's variants will be able to charge at up to 150 kilowatts. The next level up is the Premium, which starts at $50,600 and begins shipping late 2020. Customers can buy the Premium trim with the standard range battery pack or pay more for a 98.8 kilowatt hours for extended range. Each version can be optioned with rear or all-wheel drive, meaning there are 4 possible range estimates here: 210 miles for standard range with all-wheel drive, 230 miles for standard range with rear-wheel drive, 270 miles for extended range with all-wheel drive, and 300 miles for extended range with rear-wheel drive. Both all-wheel drive versions of the Premium model are supposed to be able to get from 0 to 60 miles per hour in mid-5 seconds range, while the rear-wheel drive versions in 6 seconds. Horsepower varies throughout between 255 horsepower and 333 horsepower. Again, customers will be presented with the same basic trade-offs. Would you rather have a little more performance at the expense of range, or would you rather have a bit more range at the expense of performance? Next is the California Route 1 that will ship in early 2021. Starting at $52,400 and only coming in rear-wheel drive configuration with the extended range battery pack. Ford estimates it will get 300 miles of range and deliver 282 horsepower. The $59,900 First Edition is a limited initial run version coming in late 2020 alongside the Premium model. The First Edition marries all-wheel drive with the extended range pack for 270 miles of range and 333 horsepower. It will come with special First Edition labels, brushed aluminum pedals, red brake calipers, and be available in a bright blue paint job that Ford won't offer on most other versions. Then there is the top-of-the-line Mach-E GT. This all-wheel drive only version of the vehicle starts at $60,500 and comes with a special GT badging and a metallic-looking front grille. It only squeezes about 50 miles out of the extended range battery pack, but that's because it's tuned for performance. In fact, while the other all-wheel drive versions of the Mustang Mach-E use different motors for the rear at 210 kilowatts and front 50 kilowatt axles, the GT uses the bigger electric motor on both, giving this version 459 horsepower, allowing it to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in a little under 4 seconds. If that's still not enough, a GT Performance trim will make the run in just over 3 seconds. There are plenty of other choices too, depending on which variant customers seek out. Some can be optioned with a panoramic glass roof or a Bang & Olufsen Play sound system and more. It's worth checking out the newly launched configurator to dig into all that's on offer. The Audi e-Tron comes in 3 trim levels: Premium Plus at $67,000, Prestige at $80,000, and Sportback at $81,000. Despite its higher starting price, we think the Prestige model is the e-Tron to own. It has better standard features than the base model that includes a heads-up display, massaging front seats, nicer leather upholstery. It also has adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist. We'd also add the tow package to utilize its 4,000-pound maximum capacity towing. Likewise, we'd choose the cold weather package, which brings heated rear seats and adaptive windshield wipers with heated washer jets. The interior of the Mach-E is where it sets itself apart. Just above the steering wheel is a small shiny black bar that houses a driver monitoring system. All versions of the new SUV will come with the second generation of Ford's advanced driver assistance system, Copilot 360. Ford says it wants to eventually allow hands-free highway driving, so it's good that the company included this tech. With that said, it's not fully clear when or if the driver monitoring system will be used until that happens. Behind that is a 10.2-inch digital instrument cluster that displays all the relevant driving information. This display will also change up how it looks depending on which of the 3 driving modes people choose. In Whisper mode, which is the least aggressive, this display uses minimalist graphics. In the middle Engage mode, more information appears, and in the most dynamic driving mode, called Unbridled, copper bar graphics placed around the speedometer move in the direction of the G-forces acting on the car and the driver. But the centerpiece of the interior is the 15.5 vertical touchscreen display that's mounted to and protruding from the center of the dashboard. Like many other future-focused EVs hitting the market, the Mach-E is light on buttons, with just one big physical volume knob at the bottom of this display. Sync 4 in this SUV means the Mustang Mach-E will support wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is great because there is a wireless charging pad just underneath the display. For people who want or need to plug in, there is both a USB-A and USB-C port just behind the wireless charging pad, and the same set of ports can be found at the back of the center console for rear seats. The Mustang Mach-E is Ford's first attempt to design, manufacture, and sell an electric car. And that Ford has put the Mustang's brand reputation on the line is to ensure its success, and that last part should make it all the more obvious how much the company believes in its new EV. So, what do you think of this new car? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications to receive the latest car reviews and news. Take care, and see you in the next one.